Hi, this is Murray from Second Time Tech, and today I'm going to explain some things that I had talked about on my last video, and I want to give you an update on the overclocking of my CPU and the tightening of the timings on the memory on my computer since my last video. So first, what I'm going to say is that I was able to overclock my CPU a little tiny bit more, and I got it to 3.975 gigahertz at the 1.4 volts. I know the 4 gigs will not work properly, so that's it then. I can't go any more than that. So that's what it's going to stay at. I did run Prime 95 on it, and I ran it for 3 hours and 47 minutes, and I didn't have any problems, so it should be fine. Now, on the tightening of the memory timings, I left it at the 13, 14, 14, and I changed the last from 39 to 30. So I took a bit off that. And then the TRC, I changed it from 75 to 50, and I changed the TRFC to 250, and it was 312. I ran it on MemTest, and it ran up to 1016%. So I did go over the 1000%, so it should be rock solid. And so now I'll get to my Cinebench scores. Now my Cinebench score from last video, that was 1769. Now on this one, my Cinebench R15 score was 1789 for maximum, and the average over 10 runs was 1787. And basically what I did was I ran 5, I waited 2 minutes, and then I ran 5 more, and then I averaged it. So the next day I checked it again, and it ran 5 times in a row at 1788. So that's the number I'm going to use for this one, would be 1788. Now that is, what's that, 19 higher than what I had on my last video. And I'm getting close to my 1800. So I still got some more memory timing that I can tighten up. I'm kind of done on my CPU. So hopefully maybe my memory timings, I'll be able to get that extra 12 points. Well, we'll find out next time. I'll just do a little bit more, but not too much. Now, what I wanted to explain about was what I was talking about when I was talking about the NAND, which is what's inside of a SSD. And I was talking about SLC, MLC, and TLC, and 3D TLC, and that stuff. And I just wanted to explain a little bit more about it. SLC, what it stands for is single level cell. And a single level cell can be off or on. So it has 2 states. So that means it has 2 combinations, 0 or 1. Now, a multi-level cell, which is an MLC, has 2 bits of information. So its combinations are 00, 01, 10, and 11. So that's 4 different combinations or states. Now, a TLC is a triple level cell, and it has 8 different combinations. And that's why TLCs are less expensive than MLCs, which are less expensive than SLCs. SLCs are the best. MLCs are middle. TLCs don't last as long as the other two. Now, the way that you tell about how good a cell is how many times you can write to it. Because you can read to it as many times as you want, but the more times that you can write to it before it degrades, then the better the cell is. Well, SLC is the best cell because you can write to it up to 100,000 times. Now, MLC, it doesn't drop it by a bit, it drops it by a lot. It drops it down to 10,000 times maximum, and can be 3,000 times if it's in a high capacity application. So that drops it by at least 10 times the amount. TLC is exactly the same. It drops it down to 1,000 times. So it drops it by up to 10 times again. So each time you do it, you're dropping it by 10 times. So TLCs are 100 times less being able to write to, it's a weird way to say it, but anyway, than SLC. And that's why SLCs are the most expensive. MLCs are the medium priced ones, and TLCs are the least expensive ones. Now there's a bunch of new things that are coming out with 3D TLCs, and there's some other ones too that I can't remember. I think it's VTLC, if I'm not mistaken, and they're better, but because they're trying to improve the TLC, because TLC is the least expensive way to do it, and if they can make it better, then it will last longer, and then it'll be even more or less expensive in the long run. So now you don't have to worry about like those numbers, because most of them are MLCs and TLCs in the SSDs, the solid state drives. The older ones have MLC in it, and the newer ones have TLC in it. But they don't just put in the amount that they say is the capacity of the drive. So if they say it's a 480 gig drive, like my NVMe drive from Kingston, it says it's 480 gigabytes. There's way more than 480 gigabytes on that drive. It's probably maybe 550 gigabytes on it, or something to that effect. Because what they do is they give you 10 or 20% more than what the capacity is saying on it, and they hide it from the operating system, so that the little controller that's inside of your SSD drive can not write to the same area in like that many times in a row. So basically it writes it one time, and then the next time it writes, it just writes it somewhere else. It doesn't rewrite it over that same spot. It may not go to that spot for a long time. So then the next thing is, it'll do the same thing to the next thing and the next thing. So that way there, it's not writing to the cell as many times as you think it might if it had only that exact amount of cells inside of it as what it's saying in the capacity for your SSD. So like it does not have 480 gigabytes. It's got maybe 550 gigabytes. And I just can't use it. The computer can't use it. The only one that can use it is the controller in the SSD, because it knows where everything is and it's controlling all this stuff and then has to go find it and whatnot. So it's the one that has access to everything. Windows only has access to the amount of the capacity that's written on the drive. And that's why you don't have to worry about it. The thing that you have to worry about is total bytes written. And total bytes written is the way that you know how well a drive will sustain itself over time. That's why when I bought the Kingston KC1000 drive, I checked to see what it was, and it's 550 trillion bits. That's a lot. A lot of them are only 200 terabits written. And that means that the one that I have will actually run for 2.5 to 3 times longer than that one will run before it degrades. And that's the thing that you have to look for. They don't talk about it a lot, but that is one thing that you want to look at whenever you're buying the drive. It's not just your capacity, but how long it's going to last you in the long run. I was talking about my old drive, my SanDisk SSD drive that I used as a boot drive for, how long did I say it was? Almost 3 years, or a little over 3 years. And I checked it again just a couple of days ago, and it still is 99% good. So it takes a long time for a consumer to use a lot of terabytes written to the drive. So at first I thought, oh my God, it's not going to last very long. But then I started getting into it and I understood it more. Anyway, whenever I go over this video, if I notice that I messed something up, then I will explain it a little bit more on my next video, because this one's getting kind of long now. So I'm going to cut it off there. And if you have any questions, put them in the comment section. But I will address anything that I noticed that I didn't do or didn't say in my next video. Anyway, if you liked the video, please hit the thumbs up. If you didn't like it, please hit the thumbs down. And if you like the content, just hit the subscribe button and you'll be able to get more of it. And I do want to wish everybody a wonderful day. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Bye.